Hi, everybody. This is Adam from Hammock Marketing back again to talk about a security threat or a data security issue that's really important, especially to small businesses. That's using password managers. So, first of all, let me say you need to be using a password manager. There are a lot of great different options out there, from free password managers like Encryptor from SpiderOak to paid password managers like 1Password or Dashlane or LastPass. There are a whole world of different password managers that you can look at, and you definitely in your business and in your personal life should be using a password manager. Now, in the last few days, there's been a lot of talk about some new threat vectors and malicious trackers and things like that that have been discovered that use password managers as a way to track you and also as a way to expose some of your personal credentials. So today I wanted to talk about these and a few simple things you can do while you're using a password manager to avoid these threats. So here's where the threat came from. This is from Princeton University. They have a website called Freedom to Tinker, which is, the Center for Information Technology Policy does a lot of different kinds of experiments, and they test different ways that common technologies can be used in ways that we're not used to, or in ways that they weren't supposed to be used in the first place. So, what they're looking at is user identities, and one of the ways that you are tracked across the internet is by cookies. It's by something like a tracking pixel or a user identity established by a company like Google, for example. Now, one of the more creative and diabolical ways that has been discovered that people are tracking you through different ad networks, because marketers want to remarket to you by tracking what you've seen. So, for example, if you go to website A and look at a product, when you go to website B, if the advertisements that are shown on that website use remarketing, they will have tracked what you saw on website A and show you products from website A on website B. This is a very common thing, especially with Google. With Google, you may see something on Facebook, and then you notice it shows up in the Gmail, and it shows up around the internet as you look at ads in different websites. So this is a very common thing. It happens all the time. You got to be careful with this, because if you're allowing browsers to track you, this gives up a lot of your privacy. So a really diabolical way this was found to happen, this tracking across ad networks, was through the unique identifier in a password manager, through the mechanism of an autofill. So what this means is when there's a login form on a website, and if you have a password manager that has an autofill mechanism, there can be an invisible login form placed on that page that your password manager will try and fill in if auto fill in is enabled. So they looked at different password managers where this might be an issue, and you can see that the name of their demo is Login Manager Autofill Abuse. The key term here really is autofill. And if your password manager is trying to autofill fields, you are at risk. Really, in broad terms, anytime you have a browser extension that is trying to fill in data for you, you are at risk. So the most cautious way to be is to use a password manager and don't use a browser extension. 1Password responded in a very good article where they talk about how they try to keep you safe in this exact situation. And the key here is say no to automatic autofill. Now, with 1Password, the way they do this is you need to take an action before before 1Password will fill in information for you. This is either in the form of clicking on the right here you see the 1Password browser extension. You either have to click that and choose the credentials you want to fill in, or you have to hit a keystroke or something like that. Other password managers will search a page and they'll show a little icon anywhere where there's a field that can be filled in by the password manager. LastPass does this, for example. So the key here is never use autofill. Now, it's safer to not use a browser extension at all, but go back and double check in your password manager to make sure that autofill isn't happening. If you do this, it means this kind of insidious tracking across malicious ad networks won't happen to you, because without autofill, this threat vector disappears. And be really careful about the kind of extensions you put into your browser, because the more extensions you have, the more opportunities there are for you to be exploited. All right. Well, that's what I've got for you today. In the comments, let me know if you have any questions about password managers. And remember, as you're out online and in your business, stay safe. And we'll be back tomorrow with another video.